How's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast. How are we all doing, lads? We're back.
Absolutely
We
fantastic.
back.
You're on another stag on Saturday. How'd that
Was
go?
I?
3 stags now.
By the time this
Fucking stagged out.
stagged out, done the me and you and Shay went away, and then had the one, and then I had the one with the work
too
ones.
many. If you were to go back now, would you have done one stag with just the boys?
Like to be honest with you, if I could go back, like I had a really good time in Derry. I did.
Too good.
But to be honest with you, like we went away and it was good crack. I think like I always knew we were gonna do like work. We're gonna do one for me, so it was a bit like if I could go back now, I don't know. I'd be happy enough.
You go for 4 or 5.
Yeah. I just gets to the stage where you're like I was good crack. Like I had good crack on the work one. Like, but I think afterwards you're just like, do you know what? Like you know when you just go for like a heavy session and it's just like 2-3 in a row, you're just a bit like, right, I think it might be time.
I am a stag now.
How do you think if you were to do another? Could you do another? Like, would
No.
you? How close to the wedding? Do you think's too close? Like?
Oh, definitely. I'm happy now. Honestly,
Happy.
like I'm at the stage now.
Happy boy.
I'm at the stage now. Don't know if anybody listening to this can relate, but like I'm at the stage now where I like wake up at 2 a.m. and think I need to do that.
Jesus.
So
And I have to like even last night, even last.
I made the right decision.
Like no,
need
not
to go
absolutely.
back.
It's absolutely nothing to do. I would actually say getting closer to the wedding. Like I'm 100%. Like I'm sure this is like absolutely no doubts in that sense. If I did, there would be something wrong. I think it's just like closer to the wedding. You start to begin. It's the little things.
3 weeks.
Like we need to do wedding favors. Like
3 weeks.
well, by the
How
time
are
this
we feeling?
by the time this podcast comes out,
It'll be a week.
it'll be like when's this podcast coming out? Not this Thursday, but next Thursday, which will be the 31st. It'll be like less than 2.5 weeks, basically.
3 weeks. How are you feeling? Nervous.
I'm nervous.
Are
Yeah,
you nervous?
I am nervous. Like
Nervous.
Have you
everybody keeps telling me I'm very quiet. I'm very like
Oh,
Have you any sort of like
thinking
fear
about all that money going out of the bank?
on a,
money
on
started
a scale of
rolling
1 to
out,
10? What is your fear of Lucinda leaving you on the aisle?
I'm
Like,
not
is that
fearful of
there? Like,
I'm not fearful of that. Like
what are you fearful of then?
You're essentially planning, and it's everybody keeps saying, and it's really easy to say, it's like, oh, it's your day, it's your special day, but you're essentially planning all this stuff for like a little event. And you imagine organising an event, you're just hoping that everything goes right and goes smoothly.
Yeah.
And it's just little things like that. Like even I was on the phone with a car company the other day, and they were like, and like, what time do you want us to pick you up at? And I'm like, well, I was hoping you could tell me. Like,
What
please
time's
just
my wedding?
give me, yeah, what
Ah,
time's the
they
ceremony?
want
And
to
I was
know.
like 12:30, and they were like, right, well, this would be the time we'd recommend. And I was like, right, that's fine. Like, there is sometimes when you're planning stuff, you're just like, can you, like, this is why I'm paying you. Like, can you just,
Do
no,
my
but like,
wedding for me?
no, but it's true. Like, you know, like,
Is that what you said? Well,
no,
what the
I
fuck
didn't
am
say.
paying
I
you
was
for?
just no, but it's little
Just
things.
fucking be there.
It's little things that, like even flowers and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you pay someone to basically like a wedding's so overpriced, and it's just like,
Don't know
oh,
what you're talking about.
you don't know what you're talking. You dead on, mate. We had this conversation. Me and him. I had a phone call with him the other night, and I was chatting away to him, and he was like, "I budgeted this for this," and I was like, "Yep,
Not
good luck
happening.
with that, mate."
So,
Like to be fair, you've been quite realistic about your figures.
Yeah.
Fair play to you. I don't know.
Possibly.
Like as time goes on, and me and Lucinda have both said, I think we would if we could go back now, we probably would have.
For anyone
Might
who's
have looked
listening,
into went away.
for anyone who's listening, who's getting
what would you
mad.
have done, sorry?
We'd have looked to have went away.
Oh, got
Seriously?
married abroad?
What about family and all though? I think that's a
We'd
mess. Like,
Probably like very much like brought the numbers back,
But, like,
and then
in
done a
terms of,
party
like,
whenever we get back.
in terms of like older ones going though, like
Yeah, but
that's what I would worry.
I don't really
about,
have
like.
any older people. Yeah,
Depressing.
all my
Depressing.
yeah, they're all dead and
Fucking
gone.
they're all
right?
dead, like, fuck it.
Oh no, like it's not as bad as what everybody lets on, but it's just a lot. Like it's
What's-
a lot when you've a job and you've other things going on. It's a lot.
For anyone listening, like, what's the top 3 or 4 or 5 things that like surprise you the most in terms of price? Like if someo's like
Flowers.
getting married, they're
Mm.
like, "Fuck, what's going
Flowers.
Explain to us what flowers means though. Like, what are you buying flowers for?
So you're buying flowers for well, you can buy flowers for a lot of stuff. You could use, like, a lot of people decorate their venue with the flowers.
Mhm.
We were lucky enough that the venue that we're using, like, already, like, the package includes like an floral arrangement at your top table, which is perfect. And like a
Yeah.
lot of the tables are decorated very nicely. Flowers were decorating the church. Like, there'd be flowers in the church and the windows, and then there'd be like little things going up, like handrails and all, like little wee
So
spirally
the two
things.
main things are the church on the venue,
Yeah.
and then it's the likes of the Lucinda's flowers and like
Yeah.
lapels and shit like
Yeah,
that.
literally, yeah.
So like, what would you say you were surprised? What did you think it was gonna be
Like,
roughly? Like,
to be honest,
were you thinking like a couple of £100?
I was
And how much were you off
like,
that, like?
I was off by a couple of £100, but like, put it
So
this
it was
way,
probably
what,
double
what
you
I
thought it was
roughly
gonna be.
thought it was going to be, take that number,
Double
double it.
What else?
And then they're dead a couple of days later.
Exactly.
Oh, you're not kidding.
We had
No.
this conversation the other day because we're getting married on a Wednesday, and they were like, "Oh, the flowers will probably not make it to Sunday, so you can't really gift them to the church." And I was like, "I've paid less amount of money for the flowers. I was hoping they kind of last. I don't know, forever."
I'll be keeping them in the house,
Um,
putting them around the Xbox.
yeah, but Lucinda was like, "Oh, it could be fine." I'm like, "You taking them home with you? We're taking them on honeymoon with us."
Go show up to the office. I say,
Um,
there's like
um,
flowers fucking everywhere. Like.
It's just little things
What
like
else, Give us another one.
You think they'd use fake flowers for like the
Yeah.
chapel?
yeah,
and
you
stuff, like?
can, you can.
Give
Um,
us three. Give
that's what
us
you-
One
three.
thing I didn't
So-
realise is how many friggin' people has dietary requirements. Like.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I've learned so many new
Do you think
dietary
if you
things.
didn't
like.
give people the option though, you would even hear about it? Like?
But you know what's really concerning, and you know me, I like to think about every detail. The amount of messages I've got be like, would be happy to come to your wedding, and then I've been like, do you have any dietary requirements? And they've went, oh yes, I'm allergic to shellfish. Like, one guy replied, and I was like, he was like, hey mate, love to come to your wedding. His friend knows who he is.
These people don't.
Did you
invite
even
us.
invite them? That's what I was
Yeah,
so
like-
He's dropping you messages, being like,
no,
"Lad, love
no,
to
you-
come to the wedding."
You give them,
Still haven't got an
you give
invite for
them
it?
you give them the invitation, like the paper invitation, and the card, and then there's an RSVP number, which is my number. So they basically replied and was like, "Hey lad, thanks for the invitation. Would love to come." And I went, cracker. And then I was sitting that night, and I thought to myself, I'm pretty sure you're allergic to nuts. And I replied, I was like, did you have any dietary requirements? He was like, oh, you have a nut allergy. And I was like, right, okay. Like, if I hadn't checked up on that, God knows what would have happened. Imagine me sitting up at the top table the next minute, like something out of Game of Thrones.
Giving
He
him a
starts
fucking
talking and
Snickers cheesecake or something. coming out.
you know what I mean? Like,
You just like, fuck 'em, it's my day. Don't
but
be stealing
like,
limelight here, bro.
In terms of expenses, so you've said flowers. What else? Let's
The-
try and do three.
the
here.
one thing that I really do admire about the conversation me and you had the other day was you have a more, and it might be something to do with the fact that we've had conversations and I've told you prices of stuff.
Yeah.
You have a much more realistic expectation of prices because I didn't have that. No one told me that.
Yeah.
Like, my sister told me how much things cost, but like, bearing in mind we've been through a pandemic, there's a cost of living crisis. Everything's went up.
yeah.
Like, everything's went up in price. So the one thing that I would seriously advise people to do if you're planning a wedding, do not set a strict budget. Go and assess the situation and then go, right, I think our budget should be around this,
yeah.
and try and stick to it. But like, don't beat yourself up because
For anything I've budgeted for that I've booked so far has been under the budget. like,
yeah,
which is
which
like
is perfect.
Good, like.
Whereas I'm the opposite.
You're
Like,
fuck,
yeah, like some things I was bang on. I think the only thing that, to be honest with you, like, we knew we wanted to sort of splash out almost photographer. I'm really happy we did that. Like, I'm really happy with the photographers we have and stuff. And like, you can really see the difference in vendors when they cost a wee bit. Now, to be fair, there's probably be some people out there who charge an arm and a leg and they're crap. But like, the one thing I've noticed is like, we went for quite a good photographer, and like, you can see the difference in them because they're just on the ball, like email, and they're like, we'll be there at this time, your ceremony, like, fill out this form, we'll check the details, and we'll be back with your itinerary.
Yeah.
And they're just replying like, and this is what we'll do, and you're just like, there's nothing to worry about there. But then you've got all these other people who are messaging like, what do you think of this and what do you think of that? And it's all the little odd jobs you have to do. Like I had to run to Balmoney the other day to grab cupcakes so we could go
Cupcakes? What are they?
like tasting so basically we're getting the cake made, and the bakery that's making the cake made cupcakes for all the different flavors. So you could
Is cupcakes or what they're called?
cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
Cup-
So
Cupcakes.
like whatever.
Cupcakes.
Wee mini buns.
Cupcakes.
Wee
So
buns.
basically,
What's
I
going on?
had to go pick these up, bring them back. There was like 8 mini buns. And
Wee buns.
We had to sit on like a Saturday night and literally just like slice them in half and be like, "What do you think of that?"
Imagine that's awful.
Oh, there was
Imagine
one-
having 8 cupcakes.
Did you just lift these out of a random
There was-
shop?
No, it's the bakery that we
Oh,
got to
right.
do the cake.
Right. Okay.
So, but the worst part was, Lucinda passed me this one, and it was peach and prosecco.
Ooh.
Oh
That
my!
sounds
I have
disgusting.
never tasted anything more revolting in my life. I was like, definitely not.
horrible.
That's such a
There was
wrong
actually one they
shout,
did.
like.
There was actually one they did. Would seriously recommend it. Guinness and chocolate.
Yeah.
Really nice flavour.
Yeah.
Wee subtle hint of Guinness. It's just lovely. Yeah.
Would you pick them? Or is that a surprise?
Picked Guinness and chocolate, and Lucinda picked a flavour, but I'm not entirely sure. My say was Guinness and chocolate, and then hers is like a couple of tiered cake or something. She's picking something else.
So you have like 2 different.
I think it's
flavours
plain Guinness and chocolate, and then something else.
then?
So,
Is
yeah.
there anything else that you, in terms of costing, like?
Venues are pricey.
Mm.
The amount of venues out there, right? The amount of venues out there who are charging X amount, thousands of pounds for just the room is insane.
Yeah, that's what put me off. Like, my ones are on about, because we're from Middletown, like, the Castle Leslie was one, and they were like, "Oh, price it," and I was like, it's so weird the way some people do it, because they were basically like, it's this amount ahead. It was like 100 and something ahead for dinner, and then you have to pay for the venue, like rent out the room,
On
and
top
there's
of that?
money on top of that,
Holy fuck.
and then
Mhm.
you have to like book the band, the photographer, like there's, and then the likes of the other one, you'll have other ones, you'll have stuff in the package. My advice would be go for a package. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like ours is
Saves you so much fucking time as well.
ours is a semi sort of package. So basically, we had to source our own photographer and band and all that there, which was fine. But the venue that we have decorates, does all the service, like does all the reception, all the entering, and you get your tea and coffee on arrival, shortbread, all this here, and then guests get fed, and they have all the table decorations and all this here, and they decorate the room, and you get like a bit of a wedding person to keep you right. I really do feel for people who just plan a wedding and literally they go in and it's like, oh, this is like $6,000 for just the room.
Yeah, there's places like
Because
that.
there's places that will charge you around $6,000 to do most of it, like most of the basic stuff for you. Like you imagine paying $6,000 for a room, you have to get caterer in. That'll be a couple of grand.
It's fucking
Photographer, videographer, DJ will be,
That's ridiculous. Huh?
That's mental. Like.
You fucking build a room for that.
You've got
one.
all
Yeah,
to
no.
look forward to.
you've got all to look forward to. Hey,
Yay.
it's all coming.
Gonna
The one thing that I will say is, we have started paying things now. Like we had to pay for the photographer and videographer recently, and it's such a relief because you're just like, I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's done.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. All my problems float away.
lovely.
So yeah, I'll let you know what it's like in the wedding day,
Yeah.
and then
We'll be
after,
there.
and then afterwards, it's all up to you. You take the baton from there, and then it's you, big man. You're next. You have to come at some stage.
Oh,
Telling you.
I'm gonna elope.
You get that right knees twitching a bit here. There we
Oh
go.
no.
And just
So,
bang
yeah.
it out in a day. Just propose in one day and
Yeah.
get married the same day.
Float away.
Dude.
Bang bang.
But anyway,
Come back and tell you after.
what else has been happening in the news? We started an FPL.
Yeah, Honest League football.
How's it going, guys?
I'm actually
Not
doing really
good.
well.
You're doing alright. What about
I'm
you doing?
all right.
I've seen him.
I'm a couple above him.
Are you above him?
Yeah.
I'm just fucking floating at the bottom of the table. Absolutely
So
dire first fucking week.
for those who aren't familiar with what we're talking about, we started a fantasy Premier League
Do you know,
league.
do you know who's leading us?
Hey.
Who?
Duncan.
Is
Oh,
he?
nice.
Yeah.
Fucking dickhead.
It's all based around football. Some job.
Out of us three,
I'm stone bottom. I think I actually came up this week. I was stone bottom week 1.
Ross is first. Out of us three, I'm second.
Yeah, I'm
They
honestly
basically
dead.
built Ross's team as well. Like.
Yeah, you did help, but I've made a couple of strategic subs recently.
I
But
got-
anyway, if you're listening to this and you do
It's
FPL,
closed now, closed.
oh, is it closed?
Yeah.
All right, then
If
no.
you didn't join,
You
it's
didn't
not
join.
my fucking problem.
Tough.
Yeah.
There's
Shit is
prizes to be won, and
second
you'll be
last.
getting none of them.
Second last.
Oh, well.
To put it in the context, Duncan's winning with 150 points and
He-
Shea has 79.
Oh, well. Oh, that's not. Oh.
Here,
Can all
I
change
fucking-
though, hey?
Yeah,
I caught
There's
It's only
still
3 weeks in.
my first
Not
week.
even 2
I
weeks.
had
still plenty of months
5
left.
injuries in the first week.
Just a text into the group chat where Shea's like, you fucking seriously?
It's
It's
been
a
hard.
bad
eh?
job.
It's been hard.
But sure, half the footballers.
Speaking of football,
half the footballers are away to Saudi now.
Saudi, it's mad. It's actually
Big
become
cash.
mental, like. When
Yeah.
you think last season Ronaldo went to Saudi and you were like, oh, what
You
the fuck's he
dickhead.
doing? And now, like, the amount of players that have went there, like big name players, like Neymar's just signed.
Yeah.
He's 30. Like,
Do you think that league's going to be better than the Prem at some point?
I don't think it'll ever be better than the Prem, like, because like the Prem is like established. It's what the best league in the world.
It's Saudi
It's
in
got
Europe.
the history. No, but that's the thing.
No.
They're trying to
Oh,
get in the
it's Asia,
Champions.
isn't it?
They're
So-
trying to get in the Champions League now. They're trying to get a Champions League place.
The question
Ah.
the question I have for you, as like I'm
They're
obviously
Asia.
I've
I know. That's the thing.
yeah.
What the fuck?
The question I have for
Feel
you
bad,
is you're obviously way more into football than I am. I'm only really coming back to it, and I must admit I've been keeping up most of the Premier League. We're 3 weeks in, but I'm actually like enjoying watching football again. The question I have for you is, so obviously Neymar and stuff's been bought. Like, do you think like they've bought potentially one of the biggest names in football in Ronaldo? And do you think like a lot of the teams are now like, we need to get more because they're bringing so many like fans over with them?
Yeah, that's
But
what
like
it is. Though.
it's gonna obviously dry up because like Ronaldo has like the biggest following on Instagram, the big undoubtedly the top 2 names in football at the minute is Messi and Ronaldo. So like surely at some stage it's about like if someone bought, do you think if a Saudi team bought Haaland, he'd bring across like the
I
same
think
amount of
but
fans?
like it's getting, that's what I mean. Like it's getting to the stage like the players are signing. Like even
Yeah.
Henderson, like, he was the Liverpool captain.
Yeah.
He went to Saudi. Like he was towards the end of his career, but then the sign Neves from Wolves. He's like 28 or
Yeah.
so.
It's
Yeah.
getting
He
younger
was
and
Wolves'
younger.
best player. They've signed fucking Laporte from City.
Yeah. There's
So-
talk of Varane going now.
There's
See
talk
that?
of Varane going. Like Laporte is like, I don't even think he's 30 yet.
Yeah.
And he was in the City team that just won the treble. So like it's not like they're signing
Yeah.
fucking husbands now. Like they're signing big players. Like Neymar would still be considered one of the best players in the world. Like.
Yeah. I think it is a good play by them, like starting with the older players, but obviously the older players are going to bring the younger players in, and then the money too. Like if you're a 22-year-old lad and you're maybe making like 100k at a Prem team or something, what is it a
The
week like?
money's ridiculous.
If you
Sure,
go to
Henderson's
Saudi,
on
you
six-
get like triple that. Like.
Well, to
Henderson's
put it,
on 600k a week.
To put it this, to put it in
fucking nuts,
perspective, Ronaldo is currently getting paid in Saudi 200 million a year, which is 16.67 million per month, 3.88 million per week, 555 grand
Fuck.
a day, which means he earns £386 every minute.
That is
386 euro per minute.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Though.
That's
crazy
almost as
thing,
much
the
money as
fact
you're on,
that,
Aaron.
It's getting there. Though.
Like subpar players are going and getting wages that people at United would be getting on fucking all the top teams.
But
Like.
like Mahrez, even from City, went like players that are in like Premier League winning
Yeah.
teams. Like Mahrez was playing for City last season.
Yeah.
Like they're signing
None at
big
all.
players now. Conte as well. Like the names they're signing is ridiculous. Like that's.
Do you think the Prem will just dry up?
I don't think the Prem's ever going to dry up. Like I think
'Cause you just have
the
to-
Prem's always going to be the biggest league in the world. I think, but it's like they're like Saudi now. Like it's getting this. Like people are going to watch it. Like last season,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, Ronaldo went there. Who the fuck's watching that? But now it's like people
Yeah.
are, like the Zone signed it up. Like it's on the
Yeah.
Zone now.
Yeah.
Like it's becoming accessible. Like
Didn't China try to do that a couple of years ago?
China,
I think
done
it
that,
backfired
and it was
really
regulated,
badly on them.
So like, is it
Yeah.
going to be regulated? I don't know.
And then Saudi back the whole live thing,
Yeah.
don't they? So do you think they're just trying to take over?
people are
like,
saying it's
it's-
sports washing. Like. Apparently, it's like people they think the oil's going to dry up, so they're getting their fingers in all the pies. Like.
I suppose it has to at some point. Like,
and they
doesn't it?
don't have a very reputable backing.
But that's
Put
what
it
I
that way.
mean. Like that's money talks. Like that's what
Yeah.
people are saying. Like Henderson was getting rinsed when he went because everyone was like, he was like speaking about all like LGBTQ or whatever rights and all, and was a big spokesperson for that in football, like, and the whole rainbow laces movement thing.
Yeah.
And he's went to Saudi, and everyone was like, "Oh, like you're fucking doing that, and then you're going to a country who basically don't support that." Like,
Yeah.
But he probably done that because he got paid to do that.
but it's the money.
Yeah,
Jordan
that's it,
Henderson
like.
is going to be earning £700,000 a week.
Oh,
And that cunt probably would have been retired like next year. Like he might have got an off season out of him. Like
And like he's there for like, I think he said, was it a 2 or 3 year deal? Like,
how could you say no to that? Like
and does he'll keep that?
That's one point.
There's no
Like,
tax out there, is there?
if you
No.
stay for 2 years, you don't get taxed. You have to
Yeah.
stay for 2 years, I think it is.
Here, I don't know, but that five-a-side football tournament, I was banging in goals left, right, and centre. So if there's a Saudi guy out there, he's maybe looking to like.
they're signing up third tier English players as well.
They're
I don't agree with what you're doing, but at the same time,
sure Pogba's away.
$1 million.
Is he?
Yeah,
Seriously?
I think so. Yeah,
Let me.
Lingard was like,
Is there
Oh,
that
my
much?
God.
Is there that much
Yeah.
money?
He'd probably get 500 million a year to go there, like, which is crazy.
What's the type of typical money? You know this. You're a big rugby fan. What's the typical money for like someone international, like an Ireland international?
Oh, I seen a good
As
thing the
far-
other day that Neymar in 2 years in Saudi is going to make 300 million or something, and Tom Brady in his entire 24-year career of NFL will only have made 550 million. So if Neymar stays there for 3 to 4 years, he will have made more money than Tom Brady, the best like NFL player ever. Like. Neymar will have made more
That's
4 years
ridiculous. In 4 years.
than he has in 22.
But like even like the
24
likes of
years.
Henderson and all
I know.
are gonna be up there. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like when you think
ridiculous.
about it, like the best players in the Premier League, like De Bruyne, fucking Haaland, like Rashford, all them
Yeah.
guys, like they're on like 350k a week.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
And
it's even on
and
a stage.
Henderson's
Money,
on double that,
Yeah.
and he's
Man.
fucking in his 30s towards the end of his career. Like,
It's even at a stage now in the Prem where it used to be like, oh, you go for the love of the club and all that shit. Like that's not a thing in the
No.
Prem anymore. Like.
that's
So
what
like, how
I-
can you say no to going to Saudi?
But
Like?
that's what I mean. Like the money's just it's like it's that much money you literally can't say no.
Yeah.
Like you're changing their families' lives, like your
Changing your fucking-
grandchildren.
yeah,
you
your
know,
grandchildren,
great grandchildren.
it's ridiculous. Like.
What?
Like you could buy a house or 2 houses, a mansion a week, like,
Yeah.
and
That's
just not
crazy,
even flinch. Like.
What is that in comparison, like, to the rugby?
So I kind of had a fair idea. I remember hearing that this could be completely bull luck, but I remember hearing that when Jacob Stockdale was at his peak, he was on about 500k a year, and it pretty much doubled with all of his sponsorships. So he was on about $1 million. But I've got it up here. Now I don't think these are overly public, but it's a pretty educated guess. The number one paid rugby player in Ireland is Johnny Saxton.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's on €650,000 a year. So he is, and he probably. I think they always say double it for sponsorships. So he's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
with sponsorships, he's probably on double that.
Somebody's getting more.
So Anderson's making that a week. Like.
The highest paid
mental.
Northern Irish rugby player, so plays for Ulster, also plays for Ireland, is Ian Henderson. He's on €420,000 a year.
Mm.
So
And
it's-
what way does it work in rugby? Like how much would like an Ulster contract be, or is it paid, or what?
so in the RFU, you're paid by the RFU. So you are.
So you're paid by Ireland. Like?
Yeah, so like you don't get a separate salary to play for Ireland and then another salary to play for
Do you get
your
paid?
club. It's
Do you get
one big
paid for
salary.
Ulster? No.
You do get paid for Ulster. I think the lowest salary at Ulster, I could be wrong here, but I think the lowest salary at Ulster is about 40k.
Holy fuck.
That's mad.
That's not bad, like.
It's mad,
But,
but then
like,
like when you
you-
think of like Gaelic players, like
I'm
the
doing it
guy
for
we were
now.
talking about this today, like,
Yeah.
like there's shit, like they're training like 6 days a week, like, and just
Crazy.
doing it for the love of it, like doing it for, and like
Yeah.
you play for the county you're born in. Like.
Get free pints or
It's so
something in the
romantic.
pub.
It's such a
the end of
romantic
the season.
sport, like, and then you
Yeah.
have the likes of fucking soccer. You're
Well,
just
sure. Look at golf. The earnings. Like, if you ever have time, like, go watch that Full Swing documentary on Netflix. They show you the purse for like winning the tournaments. It's mad.
yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Couple of
Mhm.
million. Like.
But then you have like boys at the bottom end where they're losing money, they're
Yeah.
not making money at all.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
not so expensive.
But it's gonna catch up in Saudi. Like they're investing so much fucking money. Like the reason the prime players and all are getting paid so much is because of the revenue from like TV sponsors and stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's not happening in Saudi. Not yet. Like, but like it's not. It can't be at a stage where it's more profitable than the Prem. Like.
I don't think they'll never get the TV rights and money and all that the
Yeah.
Prem gets. Like it's
No.
like it's not gonna happen. Like.
They're going to be in debt for years and years. But I suppose if that
It's
much
just-
money, it doesn't really
Surely
matter. Like.
it has to be regulated. Like.
Controversial question. How much does a woman footballer get paid in England? Like an England international women football player?
I would imagine nowhere near.
They get a higher percentage than the men's.
What do you mean?
The men get paid out of a pool. I think it's 4% of the pool of the World Cup, whereas the women get like
Yeah.
12 or something, isn't it?
Basically, like the money that the men's game generates, like the men gets such a smaller percentage than what the women get for theirs. Like I think anyway.
It could even be 20. I think the women might actually get 20% of the entire pool of like everything that comes in.
But it's like people look at it as in women should be getting paid the same, but it's not about that. It's about like the money they're generating. Like.
Yeah.
The average woman footballer in England, so the average lioness is on 30k a year.
Is it seriously?
Fuck, that's not
Oh
great. man.
my god. That's not.
The average like women, like a woman playing for like Arsenal is getting 30k.
This is the average lioness, so she plays for England.
Imagine you living in London like,
is that
on
what she
30k.
gets from England, or is that
I don't really know how football salaries.
look up what like a women's Arsenal player gets paid? Just
Who's
to
your
see.
girl from that played in Ireland? Katie.
Lisa Lehman.
The highest earner got 200k last year.
in a year?
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's decent, like, but
Okay,
I know
sorry.
there's Prem players making that a week, man. Or
Uh,
men's Prem's.
having some technical difficulties. But you,
That's a
you
joke.
The highest paid women's footballer plays for Man United.
what she get?
Oh no, sorry.
Fuck me.
He's sweating.
Don't
now.
fluster, mate. It's alright, Aaron. We put you on the spot,
Yeah.
big man.
The Women's Super League, is that England?
Yeah.
That's England.
Prem equipment, is it?
The average Women's Super League, so this is the clubs, earns 47k a year.
Imagine you
It's
living in
still a
London,
good, it's
like,
still a good wage. Like
if you're living in
know,
London
but,
at
like,
47,
you need to
45k,
think of
like.
sponsorships and all as well. Like.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's like I don't know. I just think like if you actually look at it from a realistic point of view and look
Yeah.
at how much money the women's game generates compared to the men's, like it's not about women getting unfairly paid. Like it's the fact that like the men's game generates so much more in TV rights and things like that. Like,
Yeah.
from my understanding anyway. Like, but it's like you said, like the women might actually be getting paid more in proportion to what like they're generating than the men. But like,
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, it's a business. Like people need.
But,
But
like,
the
if
amount
you
of money
think-
that the men are getting paid is ridiculous. Like,
but they're
I know
bringing that
that.
money in though.
I know
Yeah.
that, but like, that's just the truth of it.
yeah,
Like,
I know.
Do you
Like
know
to
what
be
I mean?
honest, like I'll hold my hand up and say I don't think I've watched a women's
Yeah.
football game in
I don't think
a
about
long
it.
time.
That's it. Like it's
Yeah.
it's not nothing against anyone who doesn't watch it. It's just like in terms
Yeah.
of like the demand for it isn't as
Yeah.
high.
I think the highest crowd.
And
is
sure,
not
like
at Wembley
how,
too.
like
is like,
men's football's been around for how long on TV and stuff. Like it's massive. Like.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and the women's football's only really started to get televised properly over like the last 5 or 6 years. You'd
Yeah.
say, like.
I think they had a record the other day of like filling Wembley. It was 64,000 or something. But like, if that was the men's football, like that would be sold out. Like,
And it's even like in terms of the
And then
TV,
you're
and like you
trying
need
to-
to think of the TV like
People
worldwide
watching it.
Like
Yeah.
the amount of people who'd watch like United, Liverpool worldwide. Like,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? In
Yeah.
comparison
Yeah.
to women's football,
a bit
Mm.
mad. Like,
but like I think women's soccer's massive in America.
yeah,
yeah.
Do you know? It's just
yeah.
the way
Fair.
it is.
Anyway,
What about Michael Burry?
speaking about money,
Like,
Okay, sorry, I'm still
Aaron's
looking at,
head's
I'm still looking at
frozen.
salary percentages here. I couldn't find a definitive on it.
So basically, if anyone's seen The Big Short, Michael Burry's the guy who backed or bet against the stock market collapsing, or not the stock,
It
the
was the
housing,
housing market,
housing
yeah.
market collapsing,
Oh,
and it did.
yeah.
This
How mu-
guy,
What did he bet?
I
Money-
can't
pound
remember.
money?
He was-
20 quid.
He was
So
the
he
first-
bet in 2007, and he made in profit for himself. So he used his hedge fund that he owned, and he had multiple investors in that hedge fund. He himself pocketed in profit 100 million from that bet, and he made his investors a combined 700 million from that one.
Who did he bet with?
He basically like created. I think it's a
Paddy
a
Power.
bond. It wasn't. It's not like betting. Like, It is and it isn't, but like he basically created a bond, I think you call them, is it, or like something like that, and he went around to the banks and basically was like, will you sell me this amount of this at this price, basically betting against the housing market collapsing and all. And they all were like, yeah, fucking how, that's not gonna happen, take his money, happy days, like. And eventually it did, like.
Free money.
But
like.
then other people like bought this, so like you had the likes of like in the show, in the film, that's fucking, what do you call him? Ryan Gosling and
Steve
Carell. Like he plays like a hedge fund owner or manager who's works within like Morgan Stanley, and he done the same. He bet on it. Like it basically follows the people who did do it. But basically the point is this guy has bet that by the end of 2023 the stock market's going to collapse.
So
Right.
what he did was he bet $1.6 billion.
Bit of a bigger bet this time.
Billion.
wasn't
That's Tuberty money.
So
it? You know.
he's reported to have bet more than 1.6 billion American dollars on the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. Yeah, on the collapse of both of them stock markets. So the S&P 500 is the top 500.
The
Biggest.
people invested on that, everyone invested on that.
Yeah, that's the top 500 companies in the US. The Nasdaq 100 is the top 100 companies listed in the Nasdaq.
So to put it in plain English for people who are listening to this who know they have their money invested in this is not a good sign.
I don't know what that means.
Because you're
though.
trusting one
like
guy. Like.
collapsing, like 500 companies in America aren't going to go bust. Like it's trying to understand. Like.
But he will probably make money himself just by doing that, because he's creating a story and people's just gonna like he's that guy who knew the housing market was going to crash before.
Like GameStop.
So he's like, basically like he's gonna know. Oh, he knows this is coming. So then people are going to start pulling their money, which then will in turn reduce the value of the market.
Okay, maybe your opinion on if this is wise or not might change in a second. This is 90% of his portfolio.
Fuck.
But like,
he's one in.
can I
Invested,
ask a question in terms of like him doing that? How many people are going to believe him, pull their investments out, and then that'll
That's all
That's
all
what I
over the
contribute
news.
to go.
Everyone's
That's what I just fucking said.
Did you?
Yeah, we not listening to me.
No, it's kind of zoomed out.
Everyone will, like a lot of people I think will do it, especially given what happened to the housing market. And
Do you have money in it?
No.
Do you have money in it?
No.
I'm in his hedge fund.
We have money in it.
What?
Do you have stocks through work?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we have money in it.
Oh.
Abort!
What? But like, is there any more information on like what is he actually predicting is going to happen?
Okay.
I can cut these sentence bits out.
See, it could just be a complete false hope, and he is just hoping on to do that. Like,
Yeah, he's hoping to create enough panic and influence.
and we're at a point in time where we're like, you know, we've been through COVID and people were sort of expecting it, and it hasn't really happened. And then the whole like theory of we're in a recession, but we just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Like people have that in their heads already, so he's probably like strategically thinking this is the time to do it. Like,
I don't think he's that type of guy.
Well, I seen a
he's pretty
thing.
smart. Like,
I
I
seen
don't
a
think he's the type of guy.
that would be smart to do that though.
I'm gonna go to the toilet here until he finds us. So.
All right, sure. Cheerio. That'll do.
Right, hello.
Okay.
We've like fucking 10 minutes left. This guy's coming now.
Well, Tommy's just left. In the spirit of prices of things,
I'd say it's probably shot down since he has announced that too.
They both have been falling pretty rapidly today.
Yeah.
I've noticed. Yeah.
So here's just mad. Like, so hold on. So I seen this video the other day on TikTok and I was like, oh my days, that's a bit mad. Like, so if you travel back in time, a pint of milk in 1990 was 25p.
Mm-hmm.
A loaf of bread in 1990 was 50p.
Holy fuck.
A kilo of bananas in 1990 was £1.18, but now it's around 80p. Interesting. But like, it's a bit mad. I seen this video the other day where this guy was basically like, I've went in and I've done my shopping in the local Tesco's, and he was like whipping out like a kilo of mints, And he was like, this cost me 37.5p. And you're like, what?
Oh, back it.
Yeah,
Oh, I think I've seen
way
it.
back.
Is
way,
that?
way,
Yeah,
way
he
back,
pulled like
yeah.
a trolley outside. I did see
Yeah.
that was
Oh.
dipping. Hey,
Yeah.
that's the S&P 500.
It's not
It's
looking
down.
good, bruv. It's not looking good.
It sort of started on the 26th of July to dip on the 1st of August. So sure, that it's bound to have some sort of correlation with whenever he announced it.
Yeah.
And it's fallen. I don't know. Is that $1,000?
Guess how much a pint of beer was in 1989, Aaron?
How
Now,
much?
This is off the back. That how much?
1989.
how
I would
much-
say less than a quid.
How much did we reckon we paid for a pint the other night?
Up at
In
the
Portrush.
port.
By £6.
Around 6.50.
96p.
Oh, fuck. Couldn't get a pint for less than £4 now.
20 cigarettes were £1.50.
No, I'd say about 10 years ago, there were only about 3.
That's mad, like.
I think it's the biggest increase has been in the past few years.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was steady enough right up until like
Everything's just went
Two thou-
rocketed up in
mid-2000s,
price. Like.
we're all gonna
The
die.
The price of pints sickens me. We were out at the weekend, hey. And honestly, it was over £6 a pint. I was like, what?
I counted it up. I think I spent like 200 quid a year stag. Just in drinking food and all that.
I was just looking
They
up there,
offer.
like a pint of beer pre 1990 was 89p.
Fuck.
We paid like what £6 the other night for it. Like,
When
Jeez.
did he make the announcement?
Who?
Your fella.
I think it's Monday.
Monday. What day was Monday?
I think he's basically betting on the price going below a certain amount. I don't think he's like betting on like all these companies. that go
Monday
shit.
was-
The
yes.
dip started on the 1st of August, and it's fallen like nearly what is it in dollars? Is it
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. The problem with it
$200
is
since
the,
then?
the S&P 500 index is up 17% this year to date.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the NASDAQ is up 30%
but that's
this year to date.
due to hyperinflation, then, isn't it? So that is not.
I think we're in too deep here. We're out of our depth.
That's not like what do you call that?
Warren Buffett says it's a bit silly.
What's
just
what
listen
is-
to
I
Warren.
don't understand. Like, what is the like? We've had a wealth expert on here. Like,
The S&P 500 is basically like the top 500 companies in America, and it's basically like say 100% split into like different percentages based
Yeah.
on the top 500 companies. So like obviously the biggest ones will be like the likes of Apple and Amazon,
yeah,
and you're investing into that. So like as them companies grow,
Your money grows with it.
So essentially like it goes up on average. I think it's like 9% over like how long it's been, how long the S&P 500 has been going on average. It's went up like 10% every year, so it goes up and down, but over the long term it goes up on average 10% every year. So that's why people advise you to invest in it, because like it's a long term play, like.
yeah.
So if you're investing like say £400 your wages every month into it, and it grows, like, so say over fucking 20 years you've invested like 50-60 grand and it's going up 10% every year, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, now it goes back.
That's why people say it, but like it'll not, like, it'll dip, it'll go below a certain price probably, but like it's not gonna fucking crash, like.
Mm.
Like
That-
he's probably betting on it going below a certain price, I'd say.
It's
Yeah.
probably him has made it fall though.
Probably like the
In
news,
China.
but like that's what happens with stocks
Yeah.
and shares. It's all about the news and like the public perception, like.
Well, it says here that it is meant to go down now because there's a big thing in China fairly recently where the US is basically not investing in China anymore.
China.
Which has basically spiraled China's economy. China's fucked basically, and that's putting a
Is this
big
all over the
impact
Ukraine thing?
in the world. That's not the Ukraine thing, but the Ukraine is also affecting it because of the rise of food and oil prices across the world because of the Ukraine war.
Nice.
But in some countries not trading with China now because they're siding with Russia over the Ukraine war.
It's got very
Well,
political. Anyway,
Speaking of prices of pints,
I think we'll end that right there. Listen, it's been a good one. If you're investing in the S&P 500, run.
Get out.
Because you're get out quick. But when we pick this up, it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next week. We'll report back.
Could all be fucked by the time
Yeah.
this goes out. Eh?
We might not be here by
Be in
then.
a
We might have to
fucking
sell all
recession.
our equipment. I don't know. But anyway, listen, it's been a pleasure. Until next time. Cheerio.